Oh, awesome. No, it's good. Yeah, so we'll get the golf game going at some point, but not yet.
No, it is still
Not
ski
close.
season, and right around the corner, it's going to be camp season, and we're going to be there before we know it. So if you're clicking on this, listening to this, watching this, whatever, thank you so much for joining us. This is our first Chalmers check-in of 2025. If you're new to us, we're going to introduce all this. But for those of you, it's old hat. Welcome back, friends. Welcome back to Jim and Chalmers Camp Insurance. We're entering our third, fourth year of official partnership. But I got to say, the relationship between Chalmers Camp Insurance and New England camping goes back literally generations. So for those of you who don't know, Jim and Chalmers Camp Insurance, that's my friend to my left, your right, wherever you're watching or hearing this. And real quick, again, Jim, this is our third or fourth time around the intro side of these check-ins. But for those of you who might not know, can you give us the cup of coffee introduction and kind of Chalmers Camp Insurance story?
Yeah, sure, Bud. Thanks, and great to see you this morning. Yeah, I'll give you the quick piece of it is, yeah, Chalmers Camp Insurance. I mean, we've had the privilege and ability to work with summer camps all throughout New England and the Northeast for about 100 years now, right? And really helping support them on their, insurance and I'll say risk management journey and really trying to be their partner and come alongside them.
I love that you said insurance and risk management, because I will say for our members in TradeWing, our member platform, you're going to see a new group next week or this week, depending on when you're listening or watching this. It's a conversation around insurance and risk management, and Chalmers, as our partner, is going to be the official sponsor of that. That means that they're going to have their eyes and their fingers on it. Carissa and the other team members will have their eyes on it. So we love hosting conversations around that, because nothing's more exciting than talking insurance and risk
Oh,
management.
I know you said we've only got about 10 minutes. I could be all day, but yeah, I mean, and for us, a big part of the risk management, right?
Yes.
We want to be proactive, right? Insurance is really the piece of when something happens, then you want to have insurance coverage to help make you whole financially. Our big piece is, hey, let's be proactive and put in policies, procedures, and really be that true partner with you to help and support you, hoping that nothing ever happens.
I'm so happy you said that, because that was where we were going next, which is there's two sides to this. And I think, and I'm not going to assume, you know what they say when you assume? That's the old adage. I was a middle school teacher, so I'll never let go of that. Insurance is insurance. Like you said, we kind of understand that because there's parallels in other areas that we just kind of get it. You have insurance for those moments that you need it. But the second part, the first part, second part, risk management or risk assessment or prepping. Can you talk about that a little bit more about, like you said, what are the things that are proactive in nature that I would imagine also end up helping with that reactive insurance side too, as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch to it, and again, we
We're
could
early in the
dive
season,
real
so
deep,
we're
right?
early in the season, and I know it's
So,
February.
so
So
there's a lot of things, right? And it's really there's a couple different pieces to it too, and not going too far, but in the sense we talk about like your routine property maintenance side of things, right? So I mean, just about every camp out there has a budget for tree maintenance, right? And they have an arborist in and taking care of that piece, your routine maintenance on your property, your cabins, and that annual, hey, I'm going to do a new roof on 5 cabins every single year, right? And just cycle through it, things like that. Big thing we've started to talk about now is on your what I'll call your capital buildings, the dining hall, those that have a water intake to them is automatic shutoff, right? And so one of the bigger claims now that we're seeing over the last few years is more so because of freeze up or broken pipes is water damage. So now there's a lot of technology out there where you put this sort of clamp system in place where the water comes into the building, so it shuts it off before you have too much damage happening. And so those are a couple pieces sort of on the property side. Of course, then we always talk about what we call the casualty, the liability, and that's that help and support for your staff, right? The campers and that routine, hey, training. You know, part of what we've done is expanded our program. I know many of you listening here have met and heard Carissa Chipman. And as of this last fall, we had hired Katie Johnson, who's a senior risk consultant who has a ton of background and experience in working with camps as well, especially on abuse prevention, waterfront safety, challenge courses and all those things. So a lot of what we're doing is expanding our offerings, help and support and education for all those camps that work with us.
Love that you pointed that out. Shout out Carissa. She's an epic committee member with ACA. Katie Johnson also has been a friend in the space for years, and we're super pumped to have Katie up here in New England with us. Helping out with Chalmers, working with Chalmers, and working with us. And I love the way you presented that, because two things can be true at the same time. Insurance and risk management is cyclical. It is no different than your car. 3,000 miles, oil change every 6 months. Do this. There's a pattern to this, but just because things have been the way they've been for generations, like you just mentioned, water damage. I'm a Florida kid, originally from Florida. So when I moved to Maine to work full time for a camp, and I was on the property year round, learning that when you said frozen pipe, bus, flooding,
basements. You're wondering why everyone has a basement up here, right? There's no such thing as a basement down there.
No, you dig you dig 2 feet, you hit the water table. But what we used to in the past, maybe just accept is let's prep and then cross our fingers. And then if we have insurance, if we need it. I love that you said, hold on, there's always something, there's always people going, can we do this better? Is there a step we can take? And there's always those, I think what we call them marginal gains in the business, right? If you think that you're set, good, that's healthy, but then start looking around. You do it with your business, you do it with your campers, you do it with your programming. It makes sense to do it with your property and the biggest assets to your business.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say is, the insurance industry is resilient. And what I mean by that is they're always trying to figure out how can we help and support, right? Now, at the end of the day, so now all of a sudden we've got, roof issues, and so maybe roofs don't last as long, or the water damage issues. So, hey, there's now technology out there to help and support and try and mitigate those pieces. I mean, and for us, it's these continued expansion of our network, if you will, right? We just hosted a 2-part webinar series with Broad Reach PR, public relations, right? So, the first part was on bad news versus crisis, right? And the second part was really how do you talk to the media? And so we're always trying to figure out how we can help camps at the end of the day and their team be prepared in the event something were to happen.
I love that you mentioned that last piece too about communication, and if something does happen, because whether it is through your insurance company, through Chalmers, if you're an ACA member, you can call us. We have a PR firm that we work with as well, that genuinely, when something happens in the summer times, we get a call. They're more than happy to, and even if you're not an accredited camp with us, we're here to serve the camp community. And so we will at least kind of give you that initial guidance. We don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, and we're looking to help as many people as we can. And so I love that you mentioned that there is nuts and bolts to all this, but at the end of the day, we are humans, and we are in a human business. We're talking about taking care of kids and giving young adults some experiences that are going to be long lasting and deeply impactful. And so you do have to make sure you have all your ducks in a row and, checking all those boxes. But as I said earlier, don't let that lull you to sleep and think that, it's just all cyclical and it's the same thing. You don't do it with your programming. Don't do it with your property. Don't do it with your risk assessment. Consistently be reaching out to Chalmers Camp Insurance if you have questions, or you can hit us up and we'll connect you with them as well. I'm going to tell you, within the ACA network, you can always find them on TradeWing. You can find them on our website. You can send us a note and we'll connect you with them. But Jim, if folks are out there and they want to connect with you or anybody, I'll tell you what, if you're driving around New England, you're going to see Chalmers signs in all the different locations. You're like Deion Sanders in the University of Colorado. You ain't hard to find. But if people do want to reach out and maybe start a conversation, or if they're friends and they want to check back in, how can they do that?
Yeah, no, certainly. I mean, obviously through the internet, look us up, Chalmers Insurance Group, Chalmers Camp Insurance. Our phone number, it's pretty easy, 800-360-3000, right? So 1-800-360-3000, and you'll get right through to me and our team to help and support you on that.
Ayla, let's make sure we get the phone number in the caption. I think that's actually a unique thing. People, pick up the phone. You can pick up the phone these days. We don't have to just text and email. You can get a human. You can get the dulcet tones of Jim Chalmers or any number of the Chalmers representatives.
Welcome conversations. Yeah, and it's pretty simple. Emails jchalmers@chalmersinsurancegroup.com. But hey, email, phone call, whatever works for you. We're there for
signals,
you,
carrier pigeon, a message in the bottle washes up in Portsmouth.
Stop by an office, like you said. You're coming up through, and you're on Route 16 going through Ossipee. Stop in. You're in Mount Washington Valley. Stop in. We're right up here and involved.
Well, I can say, Jim, thank you so much for taking a few minutes to connect with us. We're going to be doing this more throughout the spring and into the summer so that we can update these messages, tailor them. I was just happy to get this first one under the belt. And if you're going to be at the New England Camp Conference, if you're going to be at any of the other conferences, if there's a camp conference going on, look for Chalmers Camp Insurance there, because while they are a partner of ACA New England, we are proud to have that. They are definitely a supporter of all things camp in the region. So, Jim, once again, tell Katie, Chris, and the gang we send our love, and thank you so much for joining us.
No, Bud, thank you. And hey, appreciate the partnership with ACA. And to your point, the resources that ACA have, right, come alongside, help and support as well. But yeah, we'll be at ACA New England. We'll see you there. Looking forward to it.
Thanks, brother.